Mr. Scindia,
We want it.
only put
you and I want it.
It's fine. Rahul Gandhi said, you know, Rahul. Okay, Jayant, you want to respond quickly? Okay, Jayant, go ahead. Then I'm going to Mr. Khan. Brief rebut, briefly. Yes, Jyotiraditya does not like the word rebut, but it's a parliamentary word.
Conspiracy theory, you know, and let me explain this to you. Let me explain my conspiracy theory to you, that the government somehow intends to convey that even they want to unite everyone in parliament, giving them the perception that there is a threat to democracy, to the supremacy of parliament. And that is why, precisely why, we are not going to have a debate with a vote on precise resolutions tomorrow.
No.
We're not going to do that, because we're going to have a weak debate.
No.
Anna will be forced. We are going to push him to the wall. He's going to say that, you know, I do not accept, the people of the country are not accepting what's going on in parliament. Questions are going to be raised. And then the government's going to say, you know, they are questioning parliamentary democracy. So I think it's a plan.
Okay, it's a plan.
Everyone's falling into the trap.
It's a plan, says Jayant Chaudhary. Coming back to you, Jyotiraditya, but Arif Mohammad Khan. Does it look like a plan to you? Mr. Khan?
No voice. Yes, please.
Does it look like a plan to you to somehow have a debate and club all of parliament against Anna Hazare? And if that is the plan, will it work?
No.
No, 1 minute. Jyotiraditya, let me get the contrary view. I'm coming to you. Yes.
No, I don't think we should put, formulate the whole thing in this manner. The first point which I would like to make is that this new proposal of a constitutional authority should not be used to divert the issue. As it is, I understand from the news reports, the understanding was that if Parliament adopts a resolution which incorporates 3 main points which Anna Hazare ji is demanding, then maybe he can be persuaded to give up his fast.
Yes, 1 minute.
Let Parliament tomorrow adopt a resolution. Let Parliament tomorrow adopt a resolution giving out a proper time framework, saying that in such and such time the Parliament shall pass a constitutional amendment act. Basically the objective is to make a Lokpal who is effective, who is forceful, who has teeth, who can bring some control, some check on the complaints which we have today. So therefore, I think this new proposal should not divert the issue.
So Mr. Scindia, what's the problem with the timeline? Let's simplify the whole debate. What is the problem with giving a timeline?
I think we should have a timeline.
One minute. Point.
Thank you, Rajdeep.
Constitution amendment, Anna Bivin constitution amendment can be done within 24 hours, 48 hours, 3 days. It does not take very long time.
Okay, so what's the problem with the timeline? And don't tell me it's because the Congress party does not have an absolute majority.
No, I'm so glad you come on to that issue, Arnab. I think we should have a timeline.
Why didn't Rahul Gandhi give a timeline?
Why we should not have a timeline? I would beseech that as a member of parliament representing 35 lakh people, as an Indian, I would also beseech that we need a timeline. Why can't we have a timeline? If all members or senior members of parliament or of the respective parties get together and draw up a timeline. Now, it doesn't mean that if we tell Arnab that it's going to be 10 days, if it goes to 11 days, that's a crime. But if we keep with somewhere within that timeline and make sure that a strong...
So why was there no timeline
again, I'm going to leave with these words.
Why was there no timeline then? You must tell me.
One second. No, please. I don't want to get into the past, Arnab, because we can go and dissect and bisect the past. This is not of the past. This is of the present and of the future. I have come onto your show today because I also would want a resolution for the present and for the future. I want an effective Lokpal. I want a strong Lokpal, and I want a Lokpal in a respectable time frame. Yes, not necessarily 2 days.
You have to take
not
one
necessarily
more question.
6 months,
you have to
but a respectable time frame.
Small question.
And I would very, very fervently, through your panel, want to plead to Annaji. I also share a background with him because I am a Maratha. I want to plead to him very fervently. He has strode on an amazing path.
Great.
Please get off the path. We
Small
care
question.
about your health. I care about your health.
We all do.
And I want, as a young Indian, I'd like to
We all do.
fervently
One
plead through your
question,
channel.
one
Thank you so
specific
much.
question before you run away. By 1 second. One question, Jyotiraditya.
I'm not
Okay.
I'm not
Don't run.
running
No,
away.
I know you're not running away. You have another appointment. But here's the question. Question is
And,
this.
and corruption, Rajdeep, to me is extremely, is something that it is
Specific
extremely
question.
attached to my heart.
Specific
my
question.
father, when he was accused on a case, resigned from the party and fought an election on his own. So it's something which hits to the core of my being and to the core of my heart.
Circumstances now are very different. Moral standards have also fallen. Specific question to you, Mr. Scindia. If suppose there's no voting, now you don't want voting. If there was voting on specific proposals of a citizens' charter, which way would you vote? For or against it? Can you really vote against it?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Can you really vote against a proposal to have a citizens' charter in a Lokpal? Can you vote against it?
No, why shouldn't we have a citizens' charter?
Yeah, so you can't vote against it. So can you vote against having state Lokayukts?
No. Well, to me, I think that to me is a constitutional issue.
Why?
And I don't think it's fair of you on a channel to ask individuals which way they're going to vote. As long as it's not a constitutional issue, not a problem. But you have to look at the constitutional issue. We are a federal polity today. I don't know. To be very honest with you, I'm not sure. As long as it's not a constitutional issue, why should I have a problem?
Mr.
I'm trying. I'm as honest as I can be on your channel, Rajdeep.
Arnab.
Sorry, Arnab.
It's all right. My question is not that.
As long as it's not a constitutional issue, why should I have a problem? As a citizen of India, I shouldn't have a problem.
What can be done to build a consensus? I know you have to go, so I'll let you go at this point, Mr. Scindia.
I think we have to reach out. We all have to reach out to each other. I think the time for bickering, the time for one-upmanship, the time for scoring points is gone. Whether it is Team Anna, whether it is government, whether it is the opposition.
It would have been.
We have to look at a single-point agenda, two-point agendas. One, to make sure that Annaji gets off his fast. Two, to make sure we give a timeline in which we will enact this into a strong law. And that is the same thing what Rahulji has said in his speech
If Rahul Gandhi had said at 12 o'clock, Mr. Scindia, if he had said at 12 o'clock, we need the political will which he said for an anti-corruption law, and I will work towards a political will and deliver it in 6 months, then maybe there would have been more belief. That's the whole point. There is no timeline. That's the only issue. The absence of a timeline.
But I think we need to work at that. I think your point is a very relevant one.
Okay.
I think that's the point you need to stress on your show. We need a timeline. We need to get commitment on a timeline. I completely agree with you on that. Thank you so much for having me.
Where there is a will, there is a bill. Jyotiraditya Scindia, thank you very much. Harish Salve is joining in. Harish Salve, why can't there be voting tomorrow? What is wrong? See, you have always been saying, Mr. Salve, that I have a problem if it is taken away from Parliament. In Parliament, if there is voting, what's wrong? Have voting.
Why do you need voting, or why do you not need voting?
So parties take positions?
Nuances.
So that parties take positions?
I have just come off another show where Mr. Arun Jaitley said, if you are willing to discuss on specifics, we may not even ask for voting. Why do we need to micromanage how Parliament is going to run its affairs?
No, the BJP is asking for voting.
5 minutes back, Mr. Arun Jaitley said they have given 9 specific issues. They are trying to work out between the two political parties. Either they have a point-by-point debate in which the parties' positions get known, or they have voting. I think they are trying to arrive at a way in which they will run their house in a manner that the position taken by the respective political formations on each of the 9 issues which they have highlighted gets spotted on.
Then it's
one
like
way
a
is
seminar.
Voting, one way is point-wise discussion.
There is a seminar. Then it's like a seminar.
No, that's not a seminar. I am sorry, let us not substitute our wisdom for those who are there in Parliament. If the leader of the opposition feels that if there is a specific point-by-point discussion, it is good enough, I think we should defer to that judgment.
If the leader of the opposition had genuinely felt that, they wouldn't have asked for voting, would they have? Obviously, there is no guarantee that specifics will be discussed in a 193 discussion.
Exactly, so they are still working it out. I agree with you that it has to be with specificity. It can't be platitudes to the institution of Lokpal. That's a waste of everybody's time. It's a waste of Parliament's time. It has to be on the 5 or 7 or 9 points of rub between the respective positions. Each of them must be specifically addressed. Now, whether they do it by motions, they do it by discussions, or by voting is something which they must work out.
Well,
But yes, it has to be with specificity and not on platitudes on yes, of course we want to fight corruption and yes, we
no,
want to
you see,
strong
you see,
but
I'm
the
also
atmosphere is so vitiated.
no.
I'm sorry, I've just heard what Kiran Bedi had to say this afternoon to MPs, and the atmosphere is so terribly vitiated on this entire debate. I mean, I have no sympathy for the government. If they are between a rock and a hard place, they have themselves to thank. But to attack Parliament on a broadside like this, I don't think it's correct.
Mr. Salve, however, we are very specific today. I want Jayant Chaudhary. Jayant Chaudhary, I want, you made this point earlier and I want you to respond to Harish Salve.
No, since you've been such an advocate of this movement, I haven't heard a reaction from you as to do you support this broadside on Parliament?
Mr. Salve, the question is very simply this, and I'll articulate it very clearly to you. The question is this: 184 is not unconstitutional. 193 is not unconstitutional. A person is on fast, the opposition party putting in 184 or 193 can be called politicizing the debate, but it's not doing something essentially unconstitutional. Hence, the entire issue comes within the ambit of Parliament. My only point is this: 193 on a subject which the whole country is talking about doesn't seem to be giving the issue the importance it deserves, because it's an inconclusive debate. People are not forced to take positions. The whole country is talking, including you, Mr. Salve, that political parties deliver platitudes and don't deliver. Here is one opportunity of pinning political parties down. Jayant had a different view. I want you to hear this view, Mr. Salve, not mine. Mine is irrelevant. Jayant Chaudhary has a different take. He's a member of Parliament from the RLD.
You still haven't answered my question, Arnab.
I don't think 184 is a broadside attack on Parliament. It's a part of parliamentary procedure.
Why? I'm sure you've heard what Kiran Bedi had to say about Parliament.
I don't endorse anything what individuals say about Parliament. I'm saying 184 is not an attack on Parliament.
She's one
Jayant
of the
Chaudhary.
Team Anna leaders.
I don't think anything disparaging should be said about Parliament. Jayant.
I mean, I agree with you, Arnab. It's a member is perfectly within his rights to ask the speaker to within a certain ruling to raise an issue. It's for the speaker to decide, and we will abide by whatever the speaker decides. But as a political entity, we have put our view forth that we want specificity in the debate. We want parties to be able to come out with their views on specific issues. Let us debate the finer points and let that be in front of the people of the country. Because that's what they're asking for. That's what they want at this time.
Because Mr. Salve, you have always been saying if Parliament wants, it should be able to reject it. So that's great. Under a motion, you can reject it. You can show that we reject it. At least be transparent with the people which way you stand. These issues, the transparency is missing.
Let's be very clear. Let's be very clear that what we are discussing is an issue which you are ducking today. Today, the way Parliament has been attacked in this movement, I would say I am firmly of the view we should let Parliament sort out its own problem. They know that the people of this country want specific issues to be resolved. I hope the government has learnt its lessons, and I have no sympathy for where the government finds itself, but the way today the movement has been turned against Parliament, I am very, very clear in my mind that I think we need to first bring back respect for our institutions and then discuss what the institutions
I think there are two issues
now,
you discuss.
There is going to be a mass discrediting.
That will come back slowly. You can't force
I think that's a more serious issue.
Now, there are two issues we've raised here. Jayant.
Yes, I mean, I am not aware of what comments he is referring to, of what Kiran Bedi has said. But, again, we as a political party have been part of several demonstrations and agitations, and when you're in the movement, you're trying to get the people together. You're trying to speak an aggressive voice. We question laws all the time. We question what's going on in Parliament all the time. If you remember the sugarcane farmer agitation, where the government had come out with an amendment, farmers came to Delhi. We raised the issue in Parliament, and we said that this notification is something that will impact the state's right to give a beneficial price to its farmers, and we questioned it. And we raised the voice, and the government backtracked. The government responded. And that is what has been missing, that the government has not come across as a responsive government, a government of the people. And that's why the people are getting agitated. But I think individuals and organizations are within their right to say that this bill is something that does not satisfy us.
And the question eventually,
there's nothing wrong in that.
The question eventually the question is the content of what is being asked for. Yes, some people may have overstated the form. If the form is wrong, you still focus on the content. You cannot use the form not to debate the content. The content is the Lokpal bill. If all political parties agree, they can make their positions clear tomorrow. If political parties choose to,
Absolutely.
you can have a talk shop in parliament and not come with any conclusion. These are choices that are being made.
Correct.
The backdrop to the choice, however, Madhu Trayan, the backdrop of the choice is Anna Hazare. And I think in the middle of all this debate, I think we've forgotten the focus that here is a man, if his health deteriorates, it's not going to be a happy situation for anyone.